Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Rebuilding Trust, Guided Therapy Techniques and Activities to Restore Love, Trust, and Intimacy in Your Relationship by Morgan Johnson, M.A., LPC. Foreword by Gina Senerigi, Ph.D., CPC. Narrated by Anne Sprinkle. Publisher's Note. In this audio edition, you will hear references to materials present in the print and ebook formats of the book. Disclaimer. This publication contains the opinions and ideas of its author. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subject matter covered. It is sold with the understanding that the author and publisher are not engaged in rendering professional services in the book. If the listener requires personal assistance or advice, a competent professional should be consulted. The author and publisher specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence, directly or indirectly, of the use and application of any of the contents of this book. Forward. For the last 15 years, I've been working as a couples therapist to help clients repair broken trust. Some reach out to me after a major betrayal, while others come after years of trust erosion through relationship neglect. Despite the varying circumstances, they all show up using very similar and familiar dialogue rooted in blame, shock, anger, and confusion. In the aftermath of betrayal, people often find themselves at a crossroads. Many are losing sleep, ruminating while at work, and desperate to stop the waves of emotion crashing over them. They know their relationship needs to change, but they struggle to see a vision for their future. How can they bridge this gap? How can they change the dynamic so they stop turning away from each other and start turning toward each other with compassion and vulnerability? There is hope. Partners who want to stay together can stay together if they are willing to put in the effort. With the right tools and exercises, they can absolutely develop the skills needed to process, reconnect, and repair their relationships. With Rebuilding Trust by Morgan Johnson, they now have access to these tools in a clear, organized, and easy-to-follow format. This high-integrity guide walks partners, step by step, through a thoughtfully researched process of self-connection and relationship repair. It helps them move through intense emotions, resolve conflicts, reestablish security, and slowly embrace trust again. This book also empowers partners to co-create a new version of their relationship that feels stronger and better than they ever imagined. Whether you're freshly caught in the throes of a newly disclosed betrayal, finally showing up after many years of disconnection, or somewhere in between, there is something here for everyone. I'm so glad you have this book to guide you through the process of healing and repair. Morgan's wisdom, kindness, and supportive reflections will transform your relationship as you find your way back to each other again. Dr. Gina Senerigi, Ph.D., CPC. Introduction. Things falling apart is a kind of testing and also a kind of healing. Pema Chodron, Buddhist teacher and author. Of all the ways our hearts can get banged up in love relationships, betrayal is unique in its ability to rock us to the core. Few other emotional experiences inspire us to question everything we thought we knew. Since you've chosen this book, I'm assuming that you were in a place of dealing with betrayal, what I'll refer to as a relationship norm violation, or RNV, and are unsure about what to do or how to proceed. Whatever your role in the betrayal experience, I appreciate your strength in facing it. Perhaps you violated norms in your relationship and wish to repair it, or you are choosing to stay in a relationship post-RNV, or you are choosing to leave. Whatever your role and feelings, you are normal and human. If you're in the process of deciding whether to stay in a relationship or end it, what relationship scientists refer to as relational discernment, you might find some useful ideas here, but this book is not geared toward discernment. The tools here have been carefully adapted from exercises I use every day with clients who would like to rebuild trust or at least find out what it would take to try. Healing when trust has been smashed is hard work, but it absolutely can be done. In fact, many people find that doing the work to rebuild trust brings them to a level of honesty, closeness, and intimacy they didn't know was even possible. The importance of trust. Trust is vital to healthy relationships because it is foundational to the attachment and intimate behaviors needed to grow and sustain a thriving, long-term bond. The Harvard Longevity Study, the longest ongoing study in the U.S., nearly 80 years, has examined what makes people live happy, healthy lives. Of the huge number of factors the study looked at, it turned out there's one single thing responsible for making us live longer, be less likely to experience cardiovascular disease, heart attack, and stroke, and less likely to get dementia. That single factor? Being bonded with someone we trust to have our backs. Trusting again, or truly trusting for the first time, is something we're called to actively choose to do, and it's something that can be awfully hard if we find it difficult to even trust in ourselves. When we trust ourselves, we can release resistance to trusting others because we know that regardless of how things shake out, we'll be able to ensure good care for ourselves through self-leadership and self-care, as well as by recruiting trusted others and leaning into support structures and community. Learning to be more discerning when it comes to who we choose to trust, who we allow in to support our vulnerability, in and of itself can help build self-trust. The questions I get asked most. In my work as a trust recovery therapist, there are certain questions I'm asked time and again. Chances are you might have some of these same questions, so let's tackle them together. Is it wrong to consider staying with someone who has betrayed me? In our culture, we often hear things like, once a cheater, always a cheater, or, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Such expressions imply that choosing to stay and try to rebuild trust is somehow foolish or weak, and therefore setting ourselves up for disaster. On the contrary, it is anything but weak. I have profound respect for the clients and friends who let me walk alongside as they do the brave work of trusting themselves and the people they love. Likewise, if you decide that you need to dissolve the relationship without attempting to rebuild trust, that's also not a weakness. You may have very good reasons, compounded or otherwise, to make such a choice. Repair work is not ideal for every relationship, especially if abuse is a factor alongside betrayal. Do we have to hire a couples therapist? Only you and your partner can answer that. Some listeners will feel enormous benefits from working through this book with their partner and won't need a therapist. Others will notice a lot of aha moments and benefits, but still feel stuck or hopeless about the relationship. In that
Sample complete. Ready to continue?